Commissioner, President, parliamentarians, illegal hate speech has no place in our society, online or offline. Illegal hate speech needs to be met with the level of punishment set at EU level. In Ireland, the Oireachtas is currently working on a new criminal justice bill specifically dedicated to hate speech. In December, our capital city of Dublin witnessed riots which were motivated by hate and by violence, fuelled by those who want to see us divided.
Why does the Irish government hate freedom of speech? I can't understand this. Well, I can understand it because I know who they are now, cultural Marxists that actually hate the Irish people. We can understand that, but I think it's coming to terms with that, and I think it's going to come a time where the whole of Ireland is going to be awake to the political system and its corruption. Protected characteristics, hate speech. What does that actually mean? Well, we know what a protected characteristic is. The government has decided there are certain groups of people that you can't joke about, that you can't speak about. And if you do speak about them in any way, shape, or form, that you can be thrown into prison, fined, and criminally prosecuted. Crazy, I know. This isn't 1940s Germany, by the way. This is 2024 Ireland. We're not living under Stalin here. This isn't supposed to be a communist society. This is supposed to be a free society where people are free to speak. Now, I'm going to tell you why they've implemented these things. We're going to speak about a few things today. I want to start off by saying there is a big protest in Drogheda. If you want more details about that protest, make sure you check out my community post. I leave a link there where it will take you over to X, and you can find the full details about that. I don't want to speak out of turn. There's a couple of words in that I'm not. They're not verified to me. Like one of the phrases is the biggest hotel housing the most illegal immigrants. So I paraphrase there, but they're sort of hinting at that. So I want everybody to head over and do your research and join the protest, guys. You know, the only way to get your voice heard is to join the protest. If you're not a millionaire or a billionaire, the only way for the average person to get their voice across is to protest and to make yourself seen and heard. A lot of people don't want to do that, and that actually will co-align in what I'm talking about here with protect the characteristics and hate speech. They're cracking down on people protesting. They're cracking down on people protesting. So you've got Leo Varadkar and his far-left cronies who are actively trying to silence the Irish people. They're calling them bigots, racists, everything you could imagine. They're calling them Nazis, everything. Well, actually, I would say that far-left politics in Ireland and the West in general has been infiltrated by actual Nazis. I was going to say nasties there. Nasties, Nazis, same difference. Nazis, it actually has been infiltrated by Nazis. If you look at the far-left politics today, very, very divisive, division-based, divide and conquer based. That's a tactic that the Nazis used. It's also a tactic that communists use, like Stalin. You've got communist China. They do the exact same thing, and we're heading that way. In 2024, could you imagine a person saying, go back 15 years, imagine a person saying, we're close to a communist society. We're about 15 years away from a communist society in Ireland. You wouldn't have believed them. You would have said, put that person into the nut house, because that's not true. Well, it's very, very true. This is a possibility for Ireland. And under these laws that the Irish people or the Irish governments implement and legislate, it's a one step closer. And you need to know this. See this as a boxing match. In a boxing match, you don't want to be taking the back step unless you've got a setup. But let's just hypothetically say we always think the person who is aggressive in the boxing match is going to win because, you know, they're being aggressive, they're looking for the knockout. Well, in this case, politically, they're trying to put you on the back step. So they're being aggressive and you need to fight against this. Now, these laws, these protected characteristics, these hate speech laws are to put you on the back step, to silence you, to make you think twice from throwing that punch. Now, I'm not saying you should be violent to anybody. Don't be violent. I'm talking about politics here now. So think about this, right? Why would they bring in hate speech laws? Has there not always been hate speech in the mid-2000s, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. There's always been hate speech, but the definition of free speech is for you to have your ideas and for me to have mine. If you disagree with something I say, you don't have to be around me. If you think that I'm whatever, you don't have to be around me, and I don't need to be around you. But you live in a free society where you can have those thoughts and you can have that speech and you can affiliate with yourself with people that also are like-minded. And if you need to debate somebody, you have the ability to debate. What the Irish government is doing is taking your ability away to debate. For instance, if I go into the Republic of Ireland, and this is coming up to the north too, by the way, with the Sinn Féin's policies, if you look at them, all the parties are gone. On a side note, all the parties are gone. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin, Labour, all of them are gone. All of them are cultural Marxists with one agenda: to actually crack down on the Irish people. They're all working for the tarantula in the center of the spider web of Europe. That is they are the real Nazis. They are the real communists. Trust me on that. The real fascists and communists come from there. And that's all filtering down to us. And you need to know that that's just a side note. So why would the Irish government want to do that? Well, for an example, if I come out and I say, we're talking about the protect the characteristics and hate speech now, if I come out and say a man is a man and a woman is a woman, under free speech, I am protected. Under the Republic of Ireland's new rules, I have now committed hate speech because that is me targeting protected characteristics. So, for instance, if they come and arrest me, they can say, well, you've targeted certain people that were born male but identify as female. So you've targeted protected characteristics. So you've now just committed hate speech. Crazy. Whack jobs, I know. Absolute whack jobs. So instead of having the debate, instead of people saying to me, well, I disagree with you because language is a social construct and what defines a man and what defines a woman, okay, we can have that debate. But they're not trying to do that. They're trying to not have that debate and they want to crack down on that so you can't speak. And this is where it gets into the realms of tyranny. So the people on the left feel that this is a great win for them. But what the people on the left don't realize, in 15, 20 years' time, whenever it's a complete surveillance state, a complete police state where you're given rations and a social credit score, because this is where they want it to go, and everybody doesn't need to walk more than 10 minutes to get what they need. And you're not allowed to be around those people that go against the government because your social credit score will go too low. What the far left and the left don't realize is that their policies and everything that they've worked hard for diversity and everything, that will go out the window. Either it will be through pure tyranny from the government or a radical ideologies like certain parts of Islam coming in under Sharia law. Either way, it's not looking good because the left's advocating for all of this. And I'm thinking to myself, your ideas are going to be demolished within about 6 minutes if you allow this. They're actually using you as fools, as a useful idiot. They're using the left as useful idiots. And that's what I see here. So the real people standing up today are considered far right. They're considered right wing. And who would have ever thought that back in the 90s? Back in the 90s, it was the right wingers, the Republicans, the conservatives that were advocating for censorship. Now it's left wing. So what does that tell us? There is no left wing and there is no right wing. There's only good and evil, right and wrong. I know there's gray areas, but generally speaking, for the average citizen, there's just right and wrong. We want freedom of speech. Okay, you may disagree with what I have to say, but do you really want me in prison for that? If that's true and you want me in prison for that, then that makes you a communist. You're now a communist. If you hate me because I'm a straight white male Irishman, then you are a fascist. So you see what I'm doing here. The people that are calling you a fascist, the people that are calling you a Nazi, the people that are calling you right-wing and bigoted, they are actually all those things. Because to be aligned with left-wing politics, you're for diversity, you're for freedom of speech, you're for freedom of expression. Right now, there's certain groups in Ireland that can't freely express themselves, and that's the majority of Ireland. But there's these protected characteristics that are the minority, and we're not allowed to speak about them. We're not even allowed to call them out on their bullshit, because if we do, we might be in prison for that. We might be fined for that. We will be punished under law for that. And that is the seed of tyranny. And that's where it comes from. You need to know this. This is on the local level now. That is the real seed of tyranny. And that isn't me denying that gay people have had it very, very hard for decades, centuries. People couldn't come out. I get that. But guess what? We're living in an era now where gay people can come out. I'm not a denier of trans people, where people are born in the wrong bodies. But what I'm trying to say is there is a narrative being pushed by the far left governments of the West, and the numbers of trans people have went up, not because there's more trans people, it's because the governments and the Hollywoods and the medias have made it more attractive for children to identify like that. And that is coherently an attack on our children. That's not just a phase. I went through a grunge phase where I listened to Nirvana and I listened to, all the different bands, but I came out of that. What you're doing to children right now, they'll never be able to reverse. Chopping your penis off, you'll never be able to reverse that, because somebody told you that you're born in the wrong body. You might just be a gay person. These things under the Irish Republican law is considered hate speech, but what I'm actually speaking to you is fact. So why would they want to inhibit you from speaking fact? Well, because they have a bigger play at hand. So it's not, they don't care about the trans people, they don't care about the gay people, they don't care about the racial minorities. What they really care about is the long game, because coherently they are communists. And that is essentially the long game. They're communists. There's no getting away from that now. They're actual communists. And they don't realize it, and they use the LGBTQ, they use the left as useful idiots to implement their long game, because this is a long game. The plans for the long game. So, think about it this way, right? Farmers aren't being protected at the minute in Ireland. So what is a farmer? A farmer is a person that puts food on your plate. Without farmers, we're nothing. We literally will be living in a gulag where everybody gets slop. You're eating bugs. They're already trying to implement that, by the way. So think about that. Europe at the minute, which is Ireland and the rest of the European countries, are targeting farmers. They're saying the farmers are bad. They're raising the prices of everything not because of climate change, but because they are trying to control the food source. Once they have control of the food source, so here's the plan, right? Control the money with the new crypto coming in. Europe will bring that in. It's a European cryptocurrency. Control the food source by demonizing the farmers and making the farmer, not making it lucrative for them to be a farmer, and selling off their land to NGOs or the government themselves. Bill Gates has been doing that in America for a very, very long time. And then they've got control of the food source. So that is the communist plan. Do you see what I'm saying? Then you need population control, because under communism, you need a certain amount of people to die. And with the people that die, you need to bring in a certain amount of people that align with your policies, hence the illegal immigration, because a lot of the people that are coming into the country, their policies align with the tyrannical government. So whenever they come in, they replace the population that is needed for the good little workers. Do you understand? So they've got control of the money, control the food source, and control the people, i.e. population control. This is the agenda, NWO, and this is the agenda coming from Europe. So you can look at people like Leo Varadkar and think, well, he's the tyrannical dictator of Ireland. Yes, but he's also a useful idiot. That's what he is. Leo Varadkar is a useful idiot. He's a good little boy that gets clapped on the back by his superiors, like Klaus Schwab, who came out and said, with his psychotic granddaughter, and said, we trialed climate lockdowns during COVID. That's what they said. So they told you the truth. At least they're not liars. I'll give one thing to Klaus Schwab. He's not a liar. He's telling you the truth. You're just not listening. But then he uses people like Leo Varadkar as useful idiots. And then Leo Varadkar's got a whole team of useful idiots around him. But then you've got the people at the bottom of the pyramid, like me and you, that are saying, we don't agree to this. And what they're doing is they're saying, well, we don't care if you disagree or agree, because we're going to implement hate speech laws, but really what these hate speech laws will do will inhibit you from speaking about anything. And that's why the next phase of these hate speech laws, the new protected characteristic, will be people protesting. You're going to see this in the next couple of years where the Irish government will crack down on anybody protesting against certain things. They've already spoke about, I think it was Leo Varadkar, it was Fine Gael or Fine Gael or whatever you call them. They're all the same. They're all cut from the same cloth. So they're trying to say that the migrant hotels and houses that are being burnt down, they're saying that the protesters are actively engaging in that, and them not speaking about that, they're committing a criminal offense. So think about it this way. Great social that's implements with the social credit score, by the way. So think about it this way, right? So you're an average person at the protester. You disagree with the policies of the government for whatever that may be. And they arrest you because you're affiliated with the protesters, not on the basis that you're protesting, but on the basis that you haven't spoke up about the hotels and the houses being burnt down that's housing illegal immigrants. So they're arresting you on an idea. So what that is an attack on, that is an attack on thought. And this is another communist tool that's used, and you just need to know this. So whenever they attack your speech, but they also want you thinking a certain way. This is now social conditioning. So let's inhibit these protesters. We've got cameras everywhere. You've been in central Dublin, you've seen it. Cameras everywhere. We're gonna surveil all these little ants. This is what they're thinking. The useful idiot that's Leo Varadkar. We're going to surveil all these little ants, and we're going to pick out key figures, and we're going to take them down one by one for not speaking up about hotels being burnt down because they're housing illegal immigrants, because the people of that area are unhappy that droves of men are going in there, fighting fit men armed with a dangerous ideology. Rapes went up, crimes went up, and it possibly could just be a couple of local people. But to stop the protesters, we're going to lump them in with those people too. We're going to lump them in with these people too. So what that will do is that will cut the protesting in half, because there's going to be a lot of people in Ireland not wanting to be they want to go to the protest, but they'll not go to the protest out of fear that they will be arrested for something else. That is attacking your thought. And that's something Stalin used too, and Hitler, by the way. They used these tactics on people because they wanted to control what people thought. Think about it. How did the average person in Germany commit atrocities against the Jewish community? Think about it like it was just you, just normal people. That's like you going out and watching people being murdered and butchered, babies, women, men, and you not even batting an eyelid because they needed to penetrate your psyche. And that's what you're seeing in the Republic of Ireland right now. They're penetrating your psyche, and they're trying to warp your brain into thinking something that isn't going on. Yeah, sure, is there racism, bigots? Yeah, you get that in every society. You go to the most liberal society in the world. Go to Brighton in England. Go to San Francisco in America. You're still going to get your bigots and racists. You can never totally eradicate it. If you want to totally eradicate something, what you actually are is a communist. Good, normal thinking people realize that, well, there's always going to be bad people, but we want to hear the bad people speak. And that's another thing too I want to speak about. So this is how debate works. This is how a free society works, right? And you've seen Leo Varadkar recently. I forget which woman that he was debating. He was speaking to a lady I forget where it was. But he was speaking to a lady, and he said to her, he gaslit her. She was trying to say she was speaking on behalf of the women of Ireland. I've done a whole reaction video to this. She was speaking on behalf of the women of Ireland. Women of Ireland came to her and says, look, we're scared to walk the streets because of A, B, and C, the immigrants that are coming in. They're armed with a dangerous radical ideology. They only see us as a piece of meat, and the Gardaí and our government aren't doing anything. She brought this to Leo Varadkar, and Leo Varadkar gaslit her and said, I can't believe you're even speaking about this, as if it wasn't even a thing, as if she shouldn't even be speaking about this. These are communist tactics. They're gaslighters. They're narcissists to a certain degree, even though I think Leo Varadkar doesn't want unearned attention. That is the real definition of a narcissist. People who look for unearned attention, people of TikTok. the definition of a narcissist is somebody who wants unearned attention. So he's not really a narcissist because he deserves the attention that he gets. But he made that woman feel like she shouldn't have even brought that point up. I'm not even going to listen to what you have to say here because what you have to say is wrong. You're wrong. Without even hearing what she had to say. Communists. This is what communists do. I don't even have to listen to that person because that person's talking gibberish. You've been around those people before. And you've came with a valid point, and they have, in a situation, gaslit you. They've maybe twisted your words to make out what you're saying is something else. Or they've said, you're going crazy. That's not happening. They're gaslighting you. That's what communists do. And evil people do. That is real evil, by the way. Proper evil. That's why I never dismiss what anybody has to say to me, even if it is wacky, because to them it means something. The Irish government right now do not care what the majority of Ireland think. They don't. They literally do not care. And that's happening in the north too, and that will happen. Right now, Ireland has open borders, and that's not good for anybody. Imagine 20 years ago, if you had said, define being a bigot. Well, a bigot's somebody. Well, Ireland knows what bigotry is because we've went through bigotry where we had a certain selection of British people living in Ireland. They still live here, but we've grown up a lot, and they've called us Fenians and Teagues and all the bad names of the day. That's bigotry. Nobody wants to put up with that, but I never wanted to imprison those people for saying that because I wanted to know what was going through their head. That's how debate works. You hear the good points, you hear the bad points, and the bad points always fall and the good points always rise. Always. Always. No matter how long it takes, the good points will always win. But in this case, the Irish government are coming with the bad points. That's why they're trying to inhibit your speech. Because they know if we have free debate on this, if we have intellectuals that come in and debate us on this, we are going to lose. And for us to win this and to win our culture war so we can implement all these nasty things within 15 to 20 years, we need to inhibit their speech. And that's essentially what it is. That's what it is, folks. So I want to show you an example of this. And this is in the Dáil, I think. So, this has been spoke about. This has been said. And this is a girl, I think it's just called Helen McEntee. And she speaks about this. Now, this is what you call not the start of tyranny. We're way past the start of tyranny. This is them implementing and penetrating the psyche of not just the normal people, but the sheep that are in this room. So we'll play this now, right? We'll play this now, and it's only a 40-second clip. Let's hear what she has to say.
When it comes to trying to deal with the more online space, I mean, we have an online safety commissioner now. Your own colleague in the Green Party is obviously has been responsible for getting that up and running. Commissioner Mann, they're actively engaging with the online providers. They're actively engaging with Gardaí, and it's about making sure that where something doesn't necessarily cross that threshold. And one of the issues that has been brought to my attention is the incitement legislation. It is a very high threshold, particularly when you are trying to bring a prosecution forward. The DPP are very clear in what they need and the evidence that they require. That's why we have the hate crime legislation, which I want to enact. That's why we need to make sure that our laws are as strong as possible so that the Gardaí have the resources that they need.
So I want you to think about this, right? She's talking about incitement. So anything can be seen as incitement. They can look at a protest and say, well, we can link this protest to houses burning around Ireland that are holding illegal immigrants. So we're going to use this little loophole to target the protesters because they don't really care about the houses being burnt down. Well, they do because that's their men. That's their army that they're trying to bring in, by the way. But we're going to use this to inhibit protesters protesting. And this is why they hate Elon Musk. They really hate Elon Musk because he's allowed people like myself to speak the truth. But what they're going to do, they're going to go to the local level now. And they're going to say, well, Elon Musk can do whatever he wants. But what we're going to do is if you say anything out of turn that maybe we can get you on a loophole for, even though it's not bad, even if I just say a man's a man and a woman's a woman, what we're going to do is we're going to prosecute you locally, even though that's a complete breach of freedom of speech. But we don't care now because we have penetrated the psyche of enough sheep to dub you a certain political way, far right, far left, whatever, uppy or a downy, whatever. You're far north. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. You're far up, you're far down, whatever. Nobody cares anymore. But you can see it. You can still see it in the comment section. There is a certain number of people that will still use these phrases. But thankfully, Ireland is waking up. Thankfully, the majority of the people are waking up. The only thing that I would say is the corruption to the political polls. That can be used as a government thing. And I want to speak about that here just for a second. So I never really trust those political polls, ever, because there's so much room for, even if they go my way, there's so much room for corruption. That's why, this whole thing to do with, I think Ireland has people that can't get to the place where you can vote. They can vote in via the mail, via the postal service. I totally disagree with that. I totally 100% disagree with that, because that's where you're going to get political corruption. You've seen that in America with the Democratic Party. 100%. You can tell that there was a big dump of Joe Biden votes that came like at the last minute or something. This is what I'm trying to say. They're going to do anything to win, and they're going to try to inhibit your speech. They have activated a handicap on you so then they can win. That is tyranny. It isn't a free society. I was in Dublin. I seen it. The cops tailed me for no reason. They walked right behind me. I could feel the breath on the back of their neck. They were trying to intimidate me because it's a police state. And that's essentially how a Nazi was able to do terrible things during World War II. That's why normal folk are able to do bad things during wars, because their psyche has been penetrated and they're told you're doing the right thing. These people are bad. And in some degree, actually not in some degree, in the real sense of the word, they are the fascists. They are the communists. They are the bad people. They are the Nazis. That's who the governments are. And that's why whenever I just went down there to protest, like a normal person, peacefully, I was met with cops tailing me and breathing down the back of my neck to intimidate me, because they are the Nazis. You need to get this now. They are the Nazis. That's who they are. And there's no getting away from that. So we've came here over to Niall McConnell's Twitter page, if you want to go follow him. And this is a confrontation he had with a Welsh school teacher that was working in Donegal. She was working in Ireland. And everybody's opinion's welcome. And this is what I'm trying to say here. This lady has every right to approach anybody she wants, non-aggressively and non-violently, to get her opinion across, especially if it's Niall McConnell with his political opinions. I defend this lady's right to be able to say what she has to say. I just don't defend her right to be violent or to implement laws that go against the Irish people, that are coherently communist or fascist, like the Irish government are doing. So she's got every right to say what she has to say, but let's react to what she's saying here. Let's react to Niall and let's react to her. You probably have seen this here. I just wanted to react to this so I get my opinion on it. But yeah, apparently this is crazy.
Hey?
You're a racist.
Yeah, what's your problem?
You're a racist.
No.
So she started off the conversation by saying you're a racist. Now, when anybody ever, if you're a racist, I disagree with you. By the way, if you are a racist, if you're for persecuting somebody because of the color of their skin, I disagree with your politics and I don't want anything to do with you. But if you approach a conversation by saying you're a racist, what that means is that you're not willing to have a proper debate and you just want to get your opinion across, and that's it. So this lady doesn't want to debate Niall right now. She just wants to spout off her opinion.
Who are you?
Don't stand outside people's houses.
What about the Irish people? Can we not house them first?
I'm Welsh. I pay my taxes here.
Yeah, well,
I'm Welsh.
I didn't confront
You don't have a problem. You don't have a problem with people like me, and I tell you why, because it's
I do. I have a severe problem with people like this lady, because what she's doing is she's allowing the tyrannical government to implement laws that could bring tyranny upon the Irish people and the Western people in general. That would be my biggest issue, and that's what I would have said to her.
colour of my skin.
No,
You're a racist.
I don't
we
care
don't
what you
want,
call me. I don't care what you call me.
People like you.
I don't care what you call
we
me.
don't want people like you.
No,
around
the people
here.
of Donegal support me.
I'm not
We are fed up.
Irish. I'm not Irish. I'm not Irish, and I pay my taxes.
I don't care what you do.
You don't.
This is a free country.
This is a free country.
Right.
So what he should have said to her right at that moment is, listen, lady, I respect your right to travel freely around the world and to immigrate legally, but we're not here for people like you or any person of any colour that wants to immigrate legally, but we're here because the Irish government right now is allowing homeless people to die in the streets of all colours and of all nationalities, while at the same time allowing droves of young fighting fit men into the country. They're housing them, they're giving them money, they're giving them clothes. These people don't have to worry about what's going on in the world right now, and they're prioritizing those people over certain other people, natives and other immigrants. Why is that? I'm not here coming to you as a racist. I'm coming to you here as a person that is worried about the future of Ireland. That's what he should have said to her.
This is a free country. Put me on Facebook. I'm a school teacher here, and I'm sick and tired of people like you.
Well, I'm sick and tired of people like you defending
tired.
foreigners over the Irish people. Hoist the Irish people first.
Who
Put
mentioned
Ireland
foreigners?
first.
Who mentioned
Put
foreigners?
Irish people first.
Who
Hoist the Irish people first.
foreigners?
In
In your eyes, I'm a
Come on now.
foreigner. In your
Yeah, of
eyes,
course
I'm
you are
a
a foreigner,
foreigner.
yeah.
You don't have a problem with me, though, because I'm not
No.
black.
No,
You're
well,
a racist.
I think you should.
It's got nothing to do with the color of anybody's skin. It's about certain people being favored over other people. So I'm not for there's immigrants in Ireland that have came here legally. Like there was a young fella that Niall McConnell interviewed randomly in the street who was a black fella, and he was an Irishman. I don't care about the color of his skin. The way people always bring up race, you know, I have to state that for you to understand the context. But he's an Irishman, right? And I disagreed with Niall the way he treated him. I thought it was disgusting. But that young fella won that argument. It's got for the genuine people of Ireland, it's got nothing to do with the color of somebody's skin. I've stated in the past, there's Nigerian doctors that are fantastic. You know, we need immigration. Anybody that's against immigration, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. You need it for economic growth. Every good country has immigration, but right now that's not what the point is. The point is that there is away from the economic side of things, there is an invasion happening of radical jihadists allowed into Ireland, and other people coming in, given hotels, free food, free electric, free everything. They don't have to worry about anything, while at the same time there's natives and other immigrants dying on the streets of Ireland. That's what she doesn't understand. That's what she's not getting here. So she'll just come out with keywords like racist, bigot. You know, the psyche of her psyche has been penetrated by the radical left. Now, I can't get over that she's a school teacher. I'm sure she's a very good school teacher. I'm not going to target her credentials. I'm sure she's a very good school teacher, but has this lady been pushed so far left that she is implementing her own personal policies onto the children of that school? Well, as it stands, the government won't actually worry about that, and probably won't even look into that.
You go home too with that attitude.
Oh,
Go home too
so
with that
you
attitude.
do have a problem with me
Yeah,
now.
I'm an Irish nationalist.
You do
I'm
have
an
a
Irish
problem
nationalist.
with me now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially with that attitude, you should probably go back to Wales. Yeah, how about that?
Oh man.
Yeah, hoist the Irish people
Make
first.
sure you put me on Facebook.
Oh, don't worry, I
Sarah
will.
Roberts. I'm a school teacher,
Yeah.
and I spend my day trying to defend people who want a home.
The Irish Gaeltacht is destroyed. The Irish Gaeltacht is destroyed. It requires tourism.
Racist.
There's no accommodation anywhere.
So as you can see there, he's actually came with a legitimate fact. He's, you know, Niall and her have just spouted off key words to each other. I think there was no debate in that whatsoever. I would love to sit down with this lady and actually have a debate with her, and a civil debate with her, and actually explain to her what the real issues are here. Once again, just spouting off what the mainstream media is saying. Whenever she feels like she's losing the debate, she can go back to her little keywords like racist. Now, this isn't what it's about. It's not about race, because there's Irish people that are black, right? There's DNA found in black people in America that trace back to Ireland. So this isn't about race. You need to know this. This is not about race. This is about a certain culture of people coming into Ireland armed with a dangerous ideology. They promote Sharia law. They come from countries where women don't have rights, that women aren't allowed to drive, that rape isn't even considered a bad thing, that people are still getting stoned to death. I'm not talking about smoking weed. I'm talking about literally stoned to death if they break the law. Thieves get their hands cut off, and those people are allowed in. And then there is a cultural mix. These people aren't mixing with the culture, and they're seeing young girls out in the street and they're attacking them. That's what we're speaking about. It's got nothing to do with the color of their skin, because there is people in England and Ireland that are white and ginger that also hold these same ideas that I'm against. So it's got nothing against race. What she's doing is, and I actually feel like Niall's doing it a little bit too. They're just playing their part. Well, I'm right wing and you're left wing, and this is where we stand on things. No, because we're not against. I'm not for the persecution of somebody because of the color of their skin or their sexuality or anything like that.
And Gweedore, the Irish language is dying, and you're defending these people. You're defending them.
Now, what Niall could have actually said there was, well, hold on, how do you feel as being a Welsh person? And the Welsh were the first Britons. By the way, I've spoke to my brother is like a historian, so he spoke to me about this. I'm going to butcher this, but I think the Welsh were the first Britons, and they were it's coherently Gaelic. So they came in. The Welsh people are actually the first British people, Britons, hence the name Britons, even though they've got their own language. And the Welsh language is a dying language, just along with the Scottish Gaelic too. And slowly, our heritage in the Gaelic heritage of Ireland, Welsh, England, and Scotland is being corroded by this mass immigration. And there's people coming in here that don't understand the law of the lands. If they did understand the law of the lands, the Irish government wouldn't feel the need to implement things like schooling systems for these people and how to treat women. That's a real thing, by the way. I think it's in England. I don't know if they do that in Ireland, but they definitely do that in England. So if it was A-OK, you wouldn't need things like that. So why are they allowing certain people in with these types of ideologies? It's not the race or religion, it's the ideology that they have.
You're defending the destruction of Ireland. You're the enemy of Ireland. You're the enemy of Ireland. Irish people come first. Ireland first. Ireland belongs to the Irish. People like you're not going to intimidate me.
Sorry, let's just confirm. You think I should go home as well?
I didn't say that, but if you want to go home to Wales then.
You did say that.
I'm not a white nationalist. I'm an Irish nationalist. Irish people come first. My loyalty is to Ireland, not to anybody else. Loyalty is to Ireland.
Racist.
I don't care. I couldn't care less what you call me.
A racist and a danger. So the only danger I would say right now is the Irish government allowing people in that do not mix with the culture. And I'm not talking about all immigration, by the way. Immigration is needed, and I really need to keep repeating this, and I keep saying this, and I do need to repeat myself because people don't understand the actual things that people are talking about here. There's a subsection of people that are allowed in that are favored, that have got a radical ideology, and we don't know why. That's it. There's immigrants on the streets of Ireland right now that are dying. They're dying because they don't have anywhere to go. They've come in here legally and they're dying. I'm not saying don't help refugees. I'm not saying don't help asylum seekers. I'm not saying don't help those people, but we need to have a cap. We need to have a cap, and we need to have a standard, a vetting process. Niall never brought up any of these things. He never said, sir, well, hold on. I don't want to persecute somebody because of the color of their skin, but I want a vetting process for Ireland. I'm an advocate for a vetting process because right now there is no vetting process, and anybody can come in, rip up their passport, and just come in, and they could be anybody. They could be a rapist, a pedophile, a murderer, a criminal, and we don't know who they are. As a school teacher, you're not worried about your students, about the young people that you teach, about the young women that could be targeted because of this. That is the real argument. We're not saying that you don't get those people in Ireland, but we've got enough of them of our own. We don't want to import more of them. That's what we're trying to say, and this all can be stopped with a vetting process. So the question is, why is the Irish government inhibiting the people of Ireland from implementing a vetting process? Because they don't want a vetting process because they're coming in for a reason. That's why.
I couldn't care less what you call me.
You need to stop standing outside people's houses inciting
No, Irish
racism.
people come first.
She came up with keywords there, inciting racism, because that's what the government, the keywords that so you can tell that this woman is an avid RTE watcher. So she's constantly watching RTE and she's getting the keywords from RTE, inciting racism.
Ireland,
Stop
hoist the Irish people first.
outside people's
Hoist the Irish
houses,
people first.
Inciting racism.
No, we're sick and tired of our youngsters fleeing
I
to
probably
Australia.
pay your dole.
No, I'm self-employed actually.
Probably pay your dole.
Self-employed.
So that's another thing that they do too. They attack anybody that's on the welfare system. So there's a lot of people on the welfare system think they don't have a voice. Well, you are a resident of Ireland, so you do have a voice right now. You know who she's actually paying is her tax money is going to house illegal immigrants in hotels that don't have to worry about electric, food, heat, any of those things, clothing. It's all given to them, while other people, old native Irish people and other immigrants that have came here legally are on the streets hungry and dying. So her tax money, actually the majority of it, is going to house illegal immigrants, not the people on the dole.
Hey, darling. Aye. Go away now. Go on.
No, I will go when I'm ready. You don't instruct.
You're not ready yet?
You don't instruct.
Hoist the Irish people first.
You don't instruct.
Hoist the Irish people
me
first.
to go
You
home.
came
If I
over
wanna
and
go home,
you
I'll
came
go
over
home.
and confronted
I
me.
did, because I'm sick and tired of seeing you.
Well, I'm sick and
hanging
tired
around-
of people like you
hanging around
looking after
where
foreigners, putting foreigners people
I
first.
didn't mention foreigners.
Well, I am.
You didn't need to mention foreigners, and you don't have to gaslight them. This is another tactic. This is proof of actually the left gaslighting people, is that what she's trying to say is, look, I didn't mention foreigners, but she's hinted at it. So this isn't a clinical debate under oath here. This is a debate on the street. She's got out of her car. She has hinted at, she's called them a racist. So obviously she's talking about foreigners because Ireland is a majority white country. So she would be talking about foreign people. So, you know, technically she did bring up foreigners, so you know she's just discredited herself there. So what she's doing is she's just using the key words and she's trying to gaslight the situation. That's what she's doing.
Didn't mention foreigners.
I did. Hoist the Irish.
That little pause there where she's looking at him as if he's wrong, the little gaslighting look, what that is her brain scrambling for something constructive to say, but she found nothing.
You're
First,
racist.
I couldn't care less what you call me. Now, there's two huge referendums coming up in Ireland on March 8th to effectively destroy the Irish family and open Ireland's borders through family reunification. We need your support to get 2 no votes. We have already distributed almost 100,000 vote no leaflets to protect Ireland's borders, protect Ireland's families. We need to get more leaflets, everybody. There's a link down below. Scroll down there. Let's help us out, get more leaflets to print. We are constantly distributing leaflets all over the country to push back against these NGOs, the Irish regime, the traitorous politicians. We need your help. Scroll down below this video, chip into our leaflet fundraiser. If you want to set up a monthly donation, that's absolutely fantastic as well. Now, also, it's really important to share all these videos with your friends and family. If you want the truth to get out there, it's time to stand up for the Indigenous Irish people. Time to put the Irish people first. Share all these videos with your friends and family. Follow me on all social media platforms. I'm going to leave it there. God bless you all. Aaron Gobra.
So that was heavy, wasn't it? That was a heavy one, but I hope I broke that down for you quite well so you understand what I mean and how to actually have the debate. So, for instance, there's a lot of people will have debates with their family that are still sort of in the sheep mind frame. What you need to do is never spout off the key words from the left or the right, because there's no such thing. There's only good and evil. Never attack the person, attack the debate. And what do you mean by that? So, for instance, if I'm around people that don't know, that don't actually have a clue what's going on, they're still in their little bubble, then what I'll say to them is, try to go with their narrative. Try to work with them. Try to find common ground with them. Say, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, if I'm not going to listen. Niall can do whatever he wants. He's a very successful man. I'm sure he's got that down to a T. I'm just saying what I would have done. I'm not in that situation, so I don't know, right? So I need to state that. But hypothetically speaking, if I was in a better environment rather than out in the street, because Niall's out in the street here, you know, taking on loony bins. So I would say, well, as a school teacher, how do you feel that the government is bringing in droves of young men with a radical ideology that they've came from countries, they don't even have a passport, that Ireland's brought them in under a process, a non-vetting process, because Ireland doesn't have a vetting process, by the way. And They're coming in, and where they come from, rape is okay. Women don't have rights. Women aren't allowed to drive. People still get stoned to death, not smoking weed, but literally stoned to death for breaking the law under Sharia law. And thieves get their hands cut off. So what I'm trying to highlight here is an issue that if we allow this to happen, or the young women of England and Ireland and the West could be targeted by these radicals, and then see her reaction from that. Now, at that time, maybe she wouldn't let you speak. But if somebody doesn't let you speak, there's no point having the debate. Just walk away from them, because there's no point. But it's good that Niall does this and he highlights these people. And she is a teacher. So my biggest fear with this one is, and I'll end it on this, if there's any teachers watching that maybe they're left wing or whatnot, think about this, right? Never, ever, ever throw your own personal politics onto the children, because you don't know if you've been corrupted or not. I'll have a conversation with my son, but I always teach my son that there's no differences between black and white people, that you don't hate somebody because they're a different religion. You believe what you believe, and that's it. And advocate for what you believe in, but never hate on another person. But I never throw my politics onto him. And that's, if you're a school teacher and you're doing that, you need to know you're a really, really bad school teacher. It doesn't matter if you're left wing or you're right wing. But that's it, guys. That's what I have for you today. Thanks very much for tuning in. Peace.